Is this the best Shopify gift shop in Australia? Let's find out, shall we? Hey guys, Edmund Pelgan, and today I wanted to show you a website that I think is probably one of the best Shopify sites in Australia. It ticks a whole bunch of boxes that I really like, and rather than going through sites and showing you what issues there are, which we'll do in other videos, I wanted to show you what I consider one of the best practice sites and show you the things that you can leverage and copy to roll out onto your Shopify site to improve your search performance, your organic search results. So the site that I'm looking at today is Yellow Octopus. Yellow Octopus is probably one of Australia's leading online gift retailers. So what we're going to do is go through the site, look at the structural elements, how it's put together, and then we'll look at how it's performing in organic search. So if you look at the site, aesthetically it looks great. It's got a great range of content on the homepage, obviously all driven, all designed to drive people internally to different collections and categories. And so a bunch of access. It looks great. I've done a speed test using the Google Think with Google Test My Site tool, and you can see here the mobile load speed is 3.1 seconds on mobile device, which is good. Just from my own personal perspective, using the site on desktop and mobile, it loads quickly. It's great. It doesn't seem to have major speed issues, which can be a challenge with Shopify sites if you're not well optimized in terms of your images and whatnot. There's only so much you can do given that it's a hosted platform, but I'll give you an example. I just had a look at some of the images on the site, and it's great when you see a site that does things systematically and best practice wise. So for example, if you look at these images, you can see all of the images are properly labeled. They know exactly what they are, and they also include the size, the dimensions in the images. But also what's really important is that when you look at the image sizes on the site, they're optimized as best as they can be. All of these images are compressed. They are not massive. They load quite quickly. They've taken the time to go through and resize the images correctly and compress them as much as possible. That's a good thing. What's great about this site is that if you look at the collections that they've created and you scan through these gifts, men, women, kids, homewares, etc., you'll notice there's a huge range of collections. And what's interesting about the gift space is that there are many thousands of ways that people look for gifts online, especially in Australia. And these guys have done a great job taking the time to do the keyword research, obviously, and they've identified all of the relevant collections that they need to optimize for. The reality is if someone is looking for a birthday gift for a boyfriend, that's a very specific type of search, and you want to land them on a collections page that just has those unique gifts. So what Shopify has obviously allowed these guys to do is to create these unique collections quite easily and then present them in a way that's easy to access. And so if you look at the site, for example, gifts for him, you can see the collections are all well named. In this case here, it's gifts for gents. And look at all the different variations here. Gifts for him, geeky gifts, men's novelty gifts. There's a huge amount of searches for gifts around birthdays. So they've got all of those collections as well. Novelty gifts, housewarming gifts. Mate, these guys have done a great job figuring out what all the collections are. So in terms of the products themselves, let's pick a product and have a look at the product page itself. The challenge with a site this big with so many SKUs is actually writing unique and interesting copy on the pages. And it is a challenge in this space because there are other online retailers that will sell the same product, right? And so the challenge has always been, how do you write a page with a unique product description and a title so that it's unique from other ones online? And it can be tough. In this case here, for example, we've got this Wedgwood Blue 1961 EK Ute, right? The product page is quite well designed. It's got a good amount of information here that is hidden via this read more button. So it's good descriptions, etc. It's quite well laid out, right? The way that I like to see if anyone else is carrying a product is just do a search for the product name, and we have a look and see who else is showing up for that. So in this case here, I do a search for that Wedgwood Blue. You can see there's other retailers, right? There's a ton of other people. eBay, it's listed on, and there's Yellow Octopus. So Yellow Octopus is actually ranking number 1 for that. The challenge, as I said, is that everyone is using the same product name and the descriptions here. I have noticed on other product listings on Yellow Octopus that they've taken the time to write a more unique product description, but more often than not, they don't seem to change the product name, because it seems like everyone who's looking for a Wedgwood Blue EK Ute is going to search for it that way. So you can be creative in terms of writing the descriptions and making the page more comprehensive and try to make it the best page possible. And that's what they seem to have done here. And interestingly enough, they've got a good, strong team. Like, you think that's a lot of work? Absolutely, it's a lot of work. If you scroll down about their site and look for the About Us page, you'll see the size of the team that they've got working for them. Yeah, there's a big bunch of people, good Australian business based in Melbourne, right? But if you scroll down, oh, here we go. This is the team, right? So they have a full-time team of people doing all sorts of different things, but they've got a writer on board. They've got another writer here. So you can see that these guys take the time to add content to the site, not only on the product descriptions, but as I'll show you next, they write a lot of content on their site. So what we want to do is see, well, how well does this site perform in organic search? If you pop Yellow Octopus into SEMrush, you can see here they've got a good growth in organic visibility over time. 44,000 keywords in organic search, 264,000 organic visits per month. If you're paying for that traffic, it's worth close to $80,000. That's great work. So let's look at the top keyword phrases that they're getting found for. Interestingly enough, you'll see that the number one traffic generating keyword phrase, which is generating about 8.8% of their traffic, is this page called the 150th funny happy birthday memes, right? Pop that page over. And so you can start to see that these guys are using content to broaden their organic search. Interestingly enough, this page goes on, and if you do a lot of meme related searches around birthdays, you'll find this page. They're probably using this for link building as well. This is the kind of thing that gets shared quite easily. You'll notice that they've actually created a page in the Shopify platform. Looking at their pages, I know these guys also run a WordPress blog under blog.yellowoctopus.com. So it's interesting to see how they're using the platform as well as the blog to grow their organic footprint. So if we look at the keyword phrases, one thing I like to do is have a look at the pages that are doing all the heavy lifting. But first we'll go through the keywords. So you can see happy birthday meme, number one, Mother's Day gifts, number one, funny memes again, ton of memes. What we're going to do is I'm just going to filter out. I just want to see everything with the term gift in it, because I don't want to see all those meme ones. Oops, not gifts, gift. Let's try that again. So what I'm doing here is I'm just filtering all of the keyword phrases they rank for, just to show me any term that includes the word gift. Right? Let's have a look at that. All right. So the goal here is to see how many terms they're ranking for and how they figure out how they've achieved that. Like, what are the pages they've done? So in this case here, number one for Mother's Day gifts. So if you look at their rankings here, Mother's Day gifts, Christmas gift ideas, gifts for her, Christmas gifts, etc., you can see that they've got good broad coverage across the spectrum for all of these different variations of gift searches. And if you look over here at the collections pages, you can see how they've done it. They've created collections for each of the primary themes, whether it's a birthday, whether it's an 18th birthday gift, whatever it is. You can get a real idea about how to play in this space. I mean, look at it, tons of collections. And the one thing you should note about Shopify is that it doesn't allow you to create a hierarchical URL structure. So you don't have gifts for men and then you have subcategories. In this case here, everything is at collections level. So when you create a hierarchy in the navigation, you have to do it at the in the navigation, not so much in the URL structure itself. So just be aware of that. So let's go back to the keyword terms. So tons of keywords, lots of traffic for these guys. They're leveraging all the collections. This is interesting because these guys used to be on Magento and they did a migration several years ago. I remember seeing them on Magento. So you can see here, if I just filter out all of the long tail, the rankings that are off page one, you can see that the top three, they've had sort of ups and downs there, I guess. But they do have a ton of traffic that is sitting on page one. So positions top 3 and 4 to 10 there. You can see that it's been relatively steady for a while. We're looking at, 1,600 keywords on the top of the organic search results. And that's in Australia alone. Interestingly enough, this site gets a ton of visibility in the US. If you look over here, the US is showing visibility for 75,000 keywords. So there you go. Do well in Australia, you rank well overseas. Let's have a look at the backlink profile. So, who's linking to them, how are they doing so well? This site has 93,000 backlinks from 2,700 referring domains, unique websites. I'm using the SEMrush Backlink Analysis tool here. Ahrefs is another tool that you can use, and it will probably show a larger number of links. It's got a much broader data set, but this is sufficient for our goal. You can just go through this and start to see the types of links they've got, and if you click into the link profile, you get a sense of how these guys are, building links. If we just click through to the referring domains list, here we go. There's a ton of different backlinks here. I mean, lots of these links are typical SEO style link building links from different sites, etc. But I guarantee if you go through this, you'll find interesting links coming to some of their content, specifically that memes page, and it's easy to pull them up and analyze it. But just by looking through these backlinks, you can start to figure out exactly how these guys have been building their backlinks. But the key thing is, if you look at the growth over time, these guys have been building building the business and attracting links for quite a few years. In terms of the volume, this space is stupendous. Like, gift giving is huge in Australia, and the beauty of this business is that it's 12 months long, in the sense that everyone has a birthday, so there are always gifts to give on those birthdays. As well, each season has its own gift giving event, Christmas, Easter, etc. And so there's always a ton of search traffic that you can target to make sure that you've got visibility across the each month, right? So as Christmas gift giving searches drop, Easter starts to pick up. But I mean, look at the volumes here. Mother's Day gifts, Father's Day gifts, personalized gifts. I mean, there are so many opportunities. And if you were to try to compete in this space against a brand like Yellow Octopus, it may be easier to pick a niche and to focus on ranking in that niche and then moving wide. That would probably be an ideal strategy, given this is a hugely a well-performing site compared to a lot of other ones. So what else did I want to talk about for this site? Look, all in all, I think if you're looking to build a shop on Spotify and you want to grow the brand long term, you won't be doing anything wrong by looking at these guys for inspiration. From the perspective that they have a really broad range of collections, obviously based on keyword research and how people are searching for gifts. And obviously in the back end, the beauty of Shopify is that it has a tagging system that allows you to tag gifts with a range of different tags, obviously, but you can use those to dynamically populate collections. So when these guys say, hey, I'm going to create a new collection for anniversary gifts, if there is a tag that relates to anniversary, it might be event or something like that, they can literally tag a product with that tag and it will automatically fall into that new collection. It saves you having to go through every SKU and allocate it to those collections. I mean, that alone is a massive time saver for a business like this. So a great example of a well-built, high-performing Shopify site. I actually had a look at the developers and try to contact someone to give them a shout out, but they're keeping quiet. It's Elk Fox here, but I couldn't find any contact details. Actually, one thing I should point out, if you go through the pages on their sites, you'll notice they've got a lot of content, typically on the bottom of the pages, because obviously when people search for gifts, they just want to see the product at the top. But if, for example, you click on the top level collections, you'll notice that each of their collections pages has, they've built a top level pages. Oh, this is great. Look at this. So they've created a landing page using the pages functionality, right? Which allows you, this is wonderful. See what they've done here? They've created a landing page that allows you to it allows you to self-select the type of gift for kids based on their age and based on their sex, boys and girls, or by category. Look at that. And each of these then links to internal collections. This is great. See what I mean? These guys really know what they're doing. Really well done. Let's have a look at the women's gifts collection. Same again. Look at that. Great top level page, which and the beauty of this is, if you typically click on a top level collection and it just shows it shows hundreds and hundreds of products, or in this case probably thousands. By creating a top level landing page, which then directs people into specific collections, it helps people along their journey to find what they're looking for. So when they click on women, they know you can search by mum or for grandma, and then women who are wine lovers, etc. Right? So it's great. These guys are really good. You're not going to do yourself a disservice by looking at this site for inspiration and figuring out what to do. And also, if you look at the collections pages again, they've got a great little paragraph of text at the top just to try to expand the on-page content of this page. Let's scroll down to the bottom. Welcome to Australian Internet. It's a bit slow. And you look at the bottom, they've got a great amount of body copy on the bottom too. Also, in the body copy, you'll see there is internal linking going on. So yeah, best practice is happening on this site, guys. Yeah, so all in all, I wanted to show that site to you today as an example of a site with many thousands of SKUs that is really doing well on the Shopify Plus platform. Fantastic inspiration. Hey, if you want me to look at your site, shoot me an email, go to the website, send me a message, however you want to get in touch with me. And if you want me to chat to you about your website, just go to onlinekickstart.com and reach out. Happy to look at yours. Cheers.